Hello, Mr. Ed here, and it's Wednesday, August 23rd, 2023, and I'm headed to the honey house to do a follow-up of the hive that Charlie and I removed. It was a week ago. In fact, it was 8 days ago on Tuesday of last week, and I've already posted 2 videos on that thing already. The first one was the removal, and then the second one was when I was merging the bees with another colony. And why? Because our queen had died. And then after I had merged the colonies together, after I caged the queen that was from that colony, after having her caged up for it wasn't 24 hours, about, I don't know, 18, 20 hours. And I turned that queen loose. Well, the bees didn't like her, and they balled her and killed her. And so both those videos I posted, like I said, posted already. And I'll include the link to both those videos in this video in case you hadn't seen either one of those videos. But I want to give an update of what's going on, what I plan on doing right now when I go over to the honey house, because it was 7 days ago that I found out that they had killed the queen from the other colony. What I'm hoping for is that when I go over to the honey house and open up that box, that we're going to find emergency cells in that box. And if that's the case, well, I'll just add a little bit more honey and sugar water to them and close it up. But if it's not, well, then I'm going to have to go into another hive and pull a frame of brood and then drop it in there. So it's anybody's guess as to what the condition of that hive is going to be right now. And trust me, these bees have been making me guess ever since I pulled them out of that apartment complex. But by the grace of God, by the end of today, we'll have everything worked out in that hive so that the bees can carry on. And I'm really not worried about having a new queen in that hive. Here we are at the end of August, and it's not uncommon to requeen in September. So I don't think I'm going to have any troubles. But we're almost at the honey house, and let's go ahead and I'll set the camera up. I'm going to get my suit on because I don't know what these condition of their temperament's going to be. And we're going to open up that box, and we're all going to see what's going on at the same time. This is the hive that I'm talking about. And when we pulled those bees out of that apartment complex, there were 40,000 bees in there. It was just tremendous. And we just merged them. I just merged them with the other colony that had probably about 8,000 or 9,000 bees in it. And all that went very well. But what I started doing, because I didn't have I didn't have any comb honey from the cutout. I had to crush and strain it, and I'm feeding that back to them, as well as I put an internal feeder on this hive, and their sugar water in that. So you can see by the bearding right there, the bees are they're settled, but as far as I know, they're queenless. So let's go ahead and find out what we're looking at. Now, to start off, this third super right here, it's only a spacer block, and as you can tell, I've just got a jar of honey right there that I'm feeding it now. So there's a quart, so they're better than halfway through the quart. But also inside of the hive, I've also got a gallon internal sugar water feeder inside of there. So let's pull this off of there. Look at all the bees all grouped up in there, as you would expect. And the reason I put both the honey and an internal feeder on this was because they had no stores in there whatsoever. and I'm just trying to give them some food to help them make it through. Now, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 frames that I framed up of their comb. And one of the questions that I get very often is Mr. Ed, what do you do, or what do the bees do with the rubber bands that you frame comb up with? And generally, the bees will cut those rubber bands, and sometimes they'll pull them out the hive, and sometimes they'll leave them in. But here of late, I've been cutting the bands about a week or so after I put them on, because by that time they've secured the comb onto the frame, and the rubber bands are really superfluous. And then they actually will impede the bees. They get in the way of them forming wax, and they wax the rubber bands to the frames. It's a mess. So since I'm opening up right now, I'm going to go ahead and cut those frames as well. So let's see how much sugar water they use. So this was full, and it is now empty, and that's been 1 week empty. So I've got the sugar water form as well. So we're going to first, what I'm mainly looking for is, like I said before, is emergency cells. And I would be not amazed but astonished if on these top frames right here we found an emergency cell, because these are the frames of comb that I took out of their hive, and it was just a brood that I put in there. And I really don't think that there is going to be any of them of the age that would be the right age to make emergency cells. So I just want to look to see if they're storing any of that stuff that I'm putting in, or if they're just eating it. So they are storing the probably it's just the sugar water, but they are storing it, so that's good. And here is our first frame that I had of their comb, and I rubber banded it all up. And let me show you, they've attached it really well to the sides. See how they've attached it to the sides? Then all the joints, they've glued those up. So the rubber bands are serving no function whatsoever right now. So I'm going to go ahead and cut those off and pull them off of there. Yeah, it might knock a few bees off that way, but it would have happened regardless. Now I still have to be careful. The comb could fall, but as long as I don't turn it, it should be okay. So like I said, they've got it secured in there. That's very good. Here's our second frame. Now this was the frame that I had to put on a couple of extra rubber bands, because this comb right here was just falling apart. But man, they have got this thing really, really well secured. Very well secured. Look at that. They've got it all attached. All the pieces are connected. So that's perfect. And this has only been 7 days. You see how they embed the rubber bands into the wax? That's just not a good idea in my opinion. And you probably saw this when I put that frame up to the camera, but I didn't, because it was away from me, but look at that. I am astonished because right there on one of the pieces of comb that I put in there from the removal, they found an egg or a larva that was young enough to make a queen cell, an emergency cell. So there's one of them right there. That is amazing. That is astounding to me. The good news about that is there's one on this side. There's two on this side. I can't believe it. I just can't believe it. Like I said, the good thing about finding those emergency cells right there is now I don't have to go open up another hive and look for brood. Oh my gosh, let's see, I'm count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 on this side. 1, 2. Look at this. Let me turn around on the good side because this has got eight of them on this side. Look at the emergency cells on this. Oh, I mean, these are some beautiful cells. These are beautiful cells. Look at these two back here. Golly. Regardless of the queen that comes out, they'll work it all out, and this hive will be queen right. That is, if she does make it back from her mating flight. And I got one more frame in here that has to get the rubber bands cut. Golly, I'm gonna have to rethink this because I just didn't think that the brood that I left them on the comb I would have thought it had been too old for them to use to make queen cells, but apparently there was stuff in there that I didn't see, and so this one's got a gang of them on it as well. Let me show you all the cells on this one. I better hold this one. I mean, these are some beautiful cells on this side. Look at that one right there. Oh my gosh. I mean, that is just absolutely astounding. Astounding to me. In fact, as soon as I finish closing this box up, I'm going to call up world famous Mike Berry and tell him what I found. He's not going to believe it either. So we don't even have to go look anymore. But before I close this up, I got to show you the amount of bees that are in this hive. I got to show them to you because this is just amazing. And when you think that this hive, when I merged it, there were probably 4 good frames of bees on there, and now we probably got, I'll let you see for yourself how many we got. which is a lot. I'm gonna pull some of these frames out so we get a better view of it. And can you believe how calm these bees are? For being a queenless hive, they're acting as if they had a queen in here. But with the appearance of all those swarm emergency cells being made, you know the hive is queenless. All right, this ought to be able to give you an idea of the amount of bees that are in this hive. Let me remove this frame as well. Let me grab the camera. Here's what it looks like inside. That removal that we did is just, it was just so large. Look at the bees. Can y'all hear the cicadas? Boy, they've been going at it all day today. Look at the bees down there. And they are storing that honey water in there. Okay. Now that's all brood down there, I know, because that's where those four outside frames is where our bees used to be. And now it's just full up with them now. Alright, let's get all this stuff back together and fill up our internal feeder. Now some of y'all may be wondering what I'm going to be doing with all those queen cells, and I'm not going to do a thing with them. I'm leaving every one of them alone and let the bees work it out. I've given these bees enough grief over this last week. I don't need to add any more by taking away one or more of their emergency cells that they worked so hard to make. And I actually like the idea that the queen that's going to come from here is from that hive that we took out of that apartment, because, man, the genetics on this thing, I really would like to have in our yard. So I'm very happy about that part, very happy. All right, put all our frames in. Now we're going to put in our sugar water. And I use a little 1 gallon gas can because it works so great to do that. It makes it easy to fill and easy to store. I have a feeling I'm going to have to make up at least 2 more batches of this sugar water for these girls in order for them to have enough stores to get it through the winter. Now I'm missing some rubber bands on this feeder, so my sides are bulging a little bit. So I got to scoot this feeder all the way over to one side and compress that side that's bulging out. I don't want bees to get up in there. And then just take one of the frames and push it up against the other side just to keep that crack from being so large. In fact, I may be able to get a whole frame in it. Let me see if I can. No, it's not going to fit. Yeah, those girls are going to town on that. I'm going to push all these things over. Alright. Let's go ahead and put our cover back on. And then our bottle of honey as well. And they can escape, all these bees, they can escape through right there. Get our shim board back on. And our cover. That's right, I am one happy camper. Thank you, Jesus, for giving us those queen cells. Woo! Man, oh man. That's all I got for you in this one. Thanks for watching. Keep on watching, and I'll be making more. God bless. Mr. Red, I'm out here until the next video.